reporters might disagree with this, but I think we're definitely featuring the season's champions tonight because we've got the top 4 teams. At Old Trafford, something had to give. Manchester United 100% at home against the leaders Newcastle 100% away. Another 43,000 crowd there. And 10,000 at St James's Park, most of them watching on the big screen. At the City Ground, another full house for Nottingham Forest against Blackburn, 2nd versus 4th, and Forest with a chance of going top. 2 terrific matches, and also tonight we report on the men under the cosh. Would Aussie turn things round for Spurs against West Ham? And Mike Walker, is time running out? Could Everton clinch their first win against Arsenal? We'll have all the other goals. We're here, Alan, on the Old Trafford game, and Trevor on Forest Blackburn. Right, let's begin then with the champions against the leaders, Manchester United against Newcastle United, and our commentator is Barry Davis.
It was here at Old Trafford, in what was the 3rd match of last season, that Newcastle United introduced themselves to football's elite. A goal by Andy Cole, the first of his 34 in the league, giving Newcastle their first point in the Premiership. They return now as leaders with a 7-point advantage over the champions, but without Cole, rested to cure his aching shins. Paul Kitson, their new signing from Derby County, also joins the injury list, but back from it come Robert Lee and Rule Fox. Fox and Beardsley will be in partnership up front. Manchester United field only 4 of the side who lost in the Coca-Cola Cup between these teams on Wednesday. Alec Ferguson feeling that this, rather than that, is the real thing. Bruce, Bannister, Owen and McClare are joined by more familiar names, including Ryan Giggs, who's clearly persuaded his manager that his left ankle has now fully recovered. The referee, Joe Worrell of Warrington. Newcastle unbeaten in 17 games in all competitions, with a 100% away record. Manchester United yet to concede a goal in domestic competition at Old Trafford. First shot of the contest was from Kanchelskis, who this season has been rather more prepared to take a shooting opportunity. There will be many matches of the season, but this, although it's early days, is a crucial one. Beautifully timed challenge by Peacock. This is Lee on the counter, Fox to his right, the ball slightly behind Fox. Ottiger. Beardsley is way over on the far side. This is Sellers. Beardsley moves in a bit. This is Albert! Scored his first for Newcastle in the League Cup match on Wednesday. Interesting position of Beardsley. He was wide. They were perhaps slightly looking for him, and there was a gap in the middle. Eyes on, look in. Must have just brushed the head of Ottiger. Ince. Free kick by Watson. Free kick for the challenge by Watson, which wasn't appreciated by Ince, but the challenge was from behind. Bruce and Pallister making it a quintet in a line with the far post. Giggs or Irwin? It's Giggs. Oh, what a good goal! Gary Pallister. Wonderful ball in by Ryan Giggs. And the glancing header was past Cernicek before he could move. Really good free kick. Pallister above the others. Cernicek was only looking back. Peacock couldn't get to Pallister. It's 1-0 Manchester United in the 12th minute. Watson manages to get away when he shouldn't have been allowed to. This is Hottiger. In for Beardsley, away by Bruce. Here's Scott Sellers. Bruce again, and it's on the roof. So competitive, Steve Bruce. One stretch, and he got across the stretch the other as Patterson went as well. Very much the sort of match that Alec Ferguson expected against a team committed to going forward. Kanchelskis back in full flight. Cantona, Leclerc coming to the left. The other side is Kanchelskis, who wasn't expecting it, and Cantona didn't expect to give it quite so much pace. In comes the Frenchman, good save! Very well read by Cernicek. Followed the flight really well, as did the man who tried to beat him. The goalkeeper's positioning, put out, got the block, he was in the right place. Giggs. Hughes! Wasn't right off the instant. But a couple of tests for the Czech goalkeeper. Look at the eyes on the ball and the arms up to block. In fact, it was his body that did the job. He wasn't made to work quite so hard by Mark Hughes, who didn't hit it as crisply as he has on many previous occasions. Kanchelskis. How he couldn't get the challenge, another good save by Cernicek from Hughes. And Cernicek has made a trio of very important saves. He's done well as Pavel Cernicek. Denied Cantona, denied Hughes once. And this was a better stop. Sellers. And the Newcastle attack is halted by the referee's whistle. Brings to an end a half full of attack, which has produced the one goal from a set piece. Giggs' free kick, finding the head of Gary Pallister, who scored his first of the season. And on the balance of saves made by the two goalkeepers, the home side will feel that they deserve to be in front, but they're only halfway there. And it looks as though Watson is going to take a more central position to produce a bit more muscle and physique forward. Here he is. And here's Sellers! An opportunity that Newcastle may live to rue. Really, he should have got that on target. Beresford. Just a bit too much of Albert. Keane. Kanchelskis. First man. He got past with Sellers. Got two others to take on. Beresford. Good cross. This is Giggs. Lovely clutch. Took his time, Giggs. Got it on the more favoured foot. Very difficult ball in that beat attacker and defender alike. A really good hold. Beardsley gets some space. And again had plenty of time if from further out. Michael wondering whether one or two minds are still in the dressing room on his side. They've had two opportunities at the start of this second period, Newcastle, and have taken neither. Just the touch from Sellers and the pressure from McClare. Hottiger, Fox to his right, everyone else the other way. Oh, they're making Peter Schmeichel work a bit harder in the second period. Cantona. Question of the timing. Wasn't quite into Giggs' stride, but he adjusted his body movement. Cernacek on his 6-yard line. Goes forward. Giggs. Instruction given against Beardsley. They return the ball with a certain amount of irritation, it seemed. It wasn't actually bodily contact. Is Paul Ince. Cantona and Hughes in the middle, so is Kanchelskis. Ince. Corner. Excellent challenge. Scott Sellers who made it. Ball was cleanly won. Up again, and the flag is up for something. It's not going to count. The flag is up on the far side, and it was before the ball was put in. United congratulating each other, but the flag had gone up some little time before. I don't know whether the ball curled out and then back. That can be the only reason. I can only think the ball went over the line and curled back into play, and that's the reason the linesman put up his flag. And it remains at 1-0 to Manchester United and not 2. Here's Kanchelskis again, 2 to his left. Cantona waits. And the Ukrainian may have observed the slight raising of the eyebrows of the Frenchman. Or could he care? Keane. And now the Frenchman looks at the Irishman and says, I'm standing here, why didn't you lift it? Good header, Watson. Neatness from Fox. Beardsley. Is still not quite there. Giggs. Still hasn't gone out. Cantona, lovely flick to McClare. Hughes. Ince. Oh, off the crossbar. Breaking strike by Paul Ince. Cernacek was beaten. And the crossbar was punished. Cantona. Kanchelskis right, Hughes diagonally left. McClare coming up square of Kanchelskis. There is McClare! Would have looked lovely. Always a threat in this attack, and Cantona knew where he would be. But McNair got under the ball, and a substitution is to be made. And it's Ryan Giggs who applauds the crowd, who is brought on just a little bit with Europe in mind. Young Keith Gillespie is his replacement. To wait. Again, the ball has a charmed life on the line. Hughes has had two of those, got neither right. That one was lower than the one in the first half. Kanchelskis. Straight at the goalkeeper, who was centrally placed. Hit it well, but straight at the grateful Sonichek. Fox. It's been pretty quiet, really. Free weight. Shot was from Lee, but he also found unerring accuracy towards the goalkeeper. Lee Clark will either substitute with a man to save the unbeaten record. Keith Gillespie. And still. Oh! A goal of real class. Beautifully balanced, checked out, gave himself extra room. Peacock thought he was going to get the challenge there. Didn't. And the ball finishing in the corner. Kevin Keegan played his two cards. Alec Ferguson had an Irish ace. Hughes. Kanchelskis is on the right. Paul played three here. Brilliant stop. He hit it too well, really. The pace of the shot enabled the goalkeeper to make a stunning save. Hit his body, or hit his hands. All credit to the goalkeeper. I did him less than justice. Turned it up off the thumb part of the palm. It's strong but fair challenge by Beresford. Goal kick. And is that a face of resignation that the run is about to come to an end? 17 matches unbeaten. This the 18th, and against the champions. Ince, still Ince, and it was a poured save. After an electrifying run, they've had a point to make here, Manchester United, and at 2-0 they're surely going to make it. Out by Albert. pumping down from this side where Kanchelskis has been, and it's just over the top. Mark Hughes unlucky. But the verve of Manchester United now. Three in the middle for Newcastle. Little nod by Gary Pallister. Oh, the referee doesn't call it. Steve Howie's a little fortunate. Seems to me to be a bit of holding going on there. Sellers to Beardsley. Mathy. Beardsley! Well, the boos continue. Because it did seem that Harry was all over Kanchelskis and nothing was given. But Beardsley hit this one quickly, but just wide. Hughes. Cantona. Oh. Wonderful. Can he get the finish? No. Owen not in control after Cantona supremely had been. There you are, finish that. Wouldn't sit for him. Came up too high. Keane. Referee's allowed 2 minutes of stoppage time. Maybe he's enjoying it too much. Cantona far side. And Kanchelskis shares the Frenchman's disappointment. Leon, but Mathy is offside. Well, the record will read 1-9, drawn 2, lost 1. Defeat of the champions. I bet he can't wait for the return match at St James's Park. The 3 points go to Manchester United. Alec Ferguson's team close the gap. The two managers greet each other at the end of a memorable contest. Gary Pallister, the scorer of Manchester United's first goal in the 12th minute. Young Keith Gillespie getting his first in the Premiership, and a goal to remember it certainly was, making sure that the victory would go to the home side. They deserve a standing ovation, all 22 of them. It wasn't a good afternoon for Newcastle to be without Andy Cole. They had 2 chances early in the second half and didn't take them. And in the end, Manchester United were going away from them to, in terms of points, close the gap to 4.
That was a really marvellous exhibition of football. As you say, that if you pass the ball really quickly, then you've got to react quickly, and you've got to have good thinking in your possession, and because players are closing you down so quickly. I think you're seeing the very top end of British football, and probably go a long way to see as good a game as that.
We didn't really do enough over the 90 minutes to deserve a result here today. We came, we played, we took them on at football, we took part in a very good game, but I'm afraid today, I suppose the only excuse we've got is that if you looked at their side they put out today, despite all the injury problems and the fact they played the kids in the week against us, It was pretty much the side Alec would want to put out. I don't think you could say the same about my side. So we'll draw a little bit of consolation from that, and we'll drive back to the northeast.
It was never going to be a good day to be without Andy Cole, though, was there?
Well, there's no good day to be without Andy Cole. You know, if you put it in terms of Man United, it'd be like taking Hughes out of their side, who I think is a tremendous player. I know there's arguments over contracts and that, but he certainly is very vital to them. And of course, Andy Cole, we missed him. We're trying to put then square pegs into round holes. And I've no complaints. I thought the lads give what they got, but we just looked a bit toothless up front.
So you go to Barcelona on a high?
We go to Barcelona on a high at the moment. But it's a good one for us today, because, in fairness, some of the performance before the big European games have been a bit disappointing. But they knew today, the players, that they couldn't afford anything else but a top performance to overcome Newcastle, because they've been fantastic this season.
Manchester United were irresistible today. It's going to be tough to deny them a third championship on that sort of showing.
It really was a great game of football, but as you say, Manchester United were devastating. It was power and pace with lots of quality. They say the strength of the team should be straight down the middle, and today they were terrific. I mean, Ince has played terrific all season, but Pallister and especially Hughes were out of this world. Pallister made 3 or 4 great interceptions, and for me this was the best one. Newcastle on the attack, little 1-2, he's on the edge of the box, got to make the tackle, time to perfection, and Manchester United get it back. But for me, Hughes is getting better and better with age. You know, you play it into him up front, and he'll hold off the challenge, just as he does here. Peacock comes in the back, little kick there. He looks, then plays a fantastic ball to Kanchelskis out wide on the right-hand side.
Great ball.
He works hard for the side as well. He closes people down quickly. He's left up there on his own. This is sheer persistence and strength. Takes it off the player here. But look at him now. He looks about him and he moves. Gives it to Cantona. A little bit of movement. Gets it back. Spreads play well. And Manchester United on the attack again. And I agree with Kevin Keegan. I mean, if you leave him out the side, they talk about the Cantonas and the Inces, you know, Manchester United need them badly, but you take Hughes out of the team, and I think you've been in a bit of trouble.
Got to get his contract right.
Well, I think they should give him whatever he wants, really.
Now, in a sense, Manchester United play like the away team today, didn't they? They played the counter-punch
I thought
stuff.
the tactics were superb. They know the way Newcastle are going to play. Newcastle all attack. Manchester United sat back, soaked it up and hit them on the break. And they were devastating. And this is what I'm talking about. If you look here, there's 6, 7 United players behind the ball. When it comes to Pallister, he intercepts it nicely. Ball up to Hughes, played back to Cantona, and look at this, through to Giggs, and he's away in the attack. And that's in the space of 4 or 5 seconds. It's gone from box to box, and Manchester United in attack. Now, Giggs again, we highlight him here on the edge of the box. He comes across here, misses the tackle. Hughes wins it well back. Another good challenge. Look where Giggs is now. All these have all played through. Ince delivers it. And there he is. He's away in the attack again. Fantastic. And it's again from the edge of the box to Newcastle's box. But it was coming from anywhere. And this time it comes from Roy Keane. Breaks up quickly. Beasley goes in the tackle, gets past him. And again, Manchester United in the attack. Takes it to the edge of the box. Great ball and difficult to defend against. Hughes comes in. And he deserved the goal. He was terrific in the day.
And
really
they found another gold nugget, it seems, in Gillespie.
Well, he's a terrific player, and he's got pace and balance. I mean, he really is a find for Manchester United. He reminds me a bit of Giggs away attacks players, and he certainly can hit them. He scored this goal for Northern Ireland against Austria. Great position to volley it here, and he gives the goalkeeper no chance with a fantastic volley. And today, the goal he scores against Newcastle was really perfection. He gets in a fabulous position here at wide to pick it up. He runs at the defence, comes inside once, goes to it, dummies, and then from 16 yards gives the keeper no chance.
Wonderful goal. Be interested to see how Newcastle recover from that first defeat.
Well, they've got to react well, haven't they? They've gone 17 games undefeated. The secret is to go another game 17 games undefeated after you've had the first defeat.
Thanks. Well, this time last year, Nottingham Forest was scuffling around in the wrong half of the First Division. Today, they had a chance to go top of the Premiership. Their opponents, those other Championship contenders, Blackburn Rovers. At the City Ground for us, Clive Tilsley.
The good times are rolling down the Trent again. 24 games and counting. The undefeated run, which has put the name of Nottingham Forest back amongst the front runners for the game's major prizes. but their prize guy is missing today and for the next month or so. A hamstring injury has put the brakes on Stan Collimore's racing start to the season, and the financial facts of life at Forest mean his replacement is a £200,000 signing without a Premiership goal to his name. Jason Lee is the player Southend United bought to replace Collymore when he came to Forest last year. A little over 6 months later, Frank Clark decided he'd have Lee too, and he's Collymore's replacement again today. Kenny Dalglish has changed a winning side to accommodate the return from suspension of skipper Tim Sherwood. Tony Gale makes way, Paul Warhurst switches to defence. Up front, the SAS, Shearer and Sutton have a dozen goals apiece already. 2 of Alan Shearer's for the England team, which may be the next stop for Chris Sutton. Paul Danson is the man in charge. Nottingham Forest's unbeaten run is now 7 months old. It's the best around. And after Blackburn today, they face Liverpool next Saturday, followed 2 days later by Newcastle United. So we'll find out quite a bit more about the new Forest in the week ahead. David Phillips, forward for Jason Lee to chase. Away by Colin Hendry. It's kept in by Little. This is Lasso. And won by Steve Stone. Away from Sherwood. And from Lasso. Little. Cross was disappointing. He's just passed his 3rd anniversary in the job, and Mark Atkins and Jason Wilcox are the only 2 survivors today from the first Blackburn Rovers team that Kenny Dalglish selected. Cooper at the stretch, only for Sutton. Shearer to Wilcox. Sutton again. Not frightened to have a go, and why not? Crossley caught by surprise and beaten for pace. Chris Sutton, who's Nottingham-born, strangely enough, and was a boyhood Nottingham Forest fan, just continues this supreme start to the season. Beautifully placed. Number 13 in Blackburn colours. Shearer. Now Wilcox. Now Sherwood. Lasso free to the left. Ripley free to the right. Plenty down the middle. It's come off Bohinen for Roy. Only Lee in support of him. Bohinen is getting there. Roy might not need anybody. Bohinen. Stone. A bit more encouraging for Nottingham Forest. Final shot from Steve Stone, but Brian Roy at the heart of the move. Crisp work from Blackburn Rovers. Shearer. Almost came off. Bohinen. Roy has made a good run. He's got on the dangerous side of Warhurst for a split second. Away by Hendry. Brian Roy did well. Cooper. Little. Phillips. Pierce. Roy. Looking to set Phillips up, but Sherwood came between them. Sutton. Now Sherwood. Now Wilcox. This is Shearer. Ripley is beyond the far post. Sutton. Big handball shout there. They're going to have to make do with a corner kick. Chris Sutton's convinced. He wasn't ready for the corner. Sherwood. And Blackburn Rovers have certainly had the better of the opening quarter. Stone. Here's Roy. Couldn't quite find it at first. Now he's found it. Amazing. Well, he was on his hands and knees there for a moment or two. But the balance and the determination too eventually edged out a scoring chance of sorts. Really was something out of nothing for Roy. Sutton allowed to turn. This is Wilcox. Ripley arriving. Good chance. Good move. Blackburn are playing some sweeping football, some penetrative football, fast, direct. Ripley in a good position. He might just have been prized out of the way there by Cooper. Stone to Lee. Wilcox getting back there again. Phillips. Forrest are just not being allowed to settle. Cooper winning the contest of the two number 4s. Wone. Roy. Warhurst never far away. The ball never far away. It under his spell. Roy in possession again. Pearce. Wone. Pearce! Well, they've done so much work to build that stand over the last few months. It'd be a shame to knock it all down again, but if anybody can, he can. Hendry nor Lee reached it. Stone did. So did Warhurst. He's won it back from Nottingham Forest. He's paid a price. He's hurt his knee in the process. Stone. Clearance by Sherwood. It's about as anxious as Blackburn have looked in defence. Nottingham Forest anxious about Jason Lee's fitness. He's twisted his knee as he fell. Ian Wone will take the corner. We've had 5 minutes of the second half. Turned away at the near post by Alan Shearer. Des Little. David Phillips, they've all stayed in there, and Phillips tried to launch it towards them. Stone went down a little bit late, but he was caught by Wilcox, who was just knocked off balance, tried to stay on his feet. And it's going to cost Jason Wilcox a yellow card. Phillips will take the free kick. Lee, helped on by Cooper, but under pressure from Sherwood, it's gone for a goal kick. Scored 9 goals last season, Colin Cooper, not bad for a central defender. Pearce and Cooper went for the same ball, and Shearer emerged with it. Pearce eventually saw him off. Stone. Roy. Wone to his left. Lee to his right. Roy going it alone. Now Ian Wone surely. Charged down by Burke. Bohinen. Phillips. Stone. Lee. Stone. Roy. Good save. It was at him, but he had to keep an eye on it. It was coming from behind defenders. The threat of Brian Roy underlined again. Struck that well. It was ferried well into his path. The two defenders were masking Tim Plough's view. just seem to be able to throw a blue and white blanket around the ball whenever Nottingham Forest get it into dangerous positions. Nottingham Forest are getting into more dangerous positions in the second half. Pierce almost going on there. Wone's got it back. He's done well to find Phillips. David Phillips! Well held, Tim Flowers with Ryan Roy closing in. Well struck, David Phillips. Wilcox. Shearer. Made a little bit of space for himself. Des Little settles for the corner. Coming up to the 20-minute mark in this second half. Headed by Chettle. Bohinen. Only Roy ahead of him. Roy against two defenders and a goalkeeper. It's fair odds for him. Ryan Roy needed the goalkeeper. He lost the two defenders pretty effectively. Good defenders too. He's a wonderful individual. Strangely enough, his partnership with Stan Collymore has barely been that, because they don't really play off each other. They're just two superbly talented players who almost take it in turns to attack. Stone in possession. Roy couldn't turn. Phillips on. Stone! They've certainly had some half chances in the second half, Nottingham Forest. Steve Stone had to try and meet it on the volley. Didn't really get hold of it off the top of his foot, but he mishit one in at Villa last week. Sutton trying to run in behind Chettle. Ripley on the touchline. Stuart Pearce just couldn't resist. They can service the Laws all they like, but there'll always be room in Stuart Pearce's repertoire for the sliding challenge. Corner kick. Hendry and Berger in the middle. It's Shearer though, and now Sutton, and that should do it for Blackburn Rovers, and that looks like the end of the Nottingham Forest unbeaten run. 2 for Sutton, 2 for Blackburn, and less than a quarter of the match to go, and they lost Shearer and Sutton, and how can you do that? All Nottingham Forest spirited work in this second half, wasted on some careless defending from a set piece. Wilcox threw the ball away, just can't afford to do it. And a second yellow card for Jason Wilcox. I do believe will add up to his second red card of the season. It just seems like something and nothing. It seems such a trivial thing. A loss of concentration, almost old habits dying hard. Waste a few seconds, last few minutes, and there you are. It's going to cost him another suspension. Pierce. Roy is turned, and Roy is denied. He's deserved a goal. He might still get it. Lasso is there. And it's Sutton again, an attacker doing the defending on behalf of Blackburn Rovers. Shearer doesn't get his own way this time. Looked like a foul. Pierce. Header away by Hendry. Sutton once more, and he's got a free kick. But a red card seems an unnecessary punctuation to the match. It's bound to be a part of the story of the game when it's debated and described in the morning papers, but he's under orders. All good things come to an end. Blackburn Rovers, the first team to beat Nottingham Forest in 25 games. 2 hometown goals for Chris Sutton. And Blackburn complete a most demanding month with a happy ending, only their second away win of the season. Forest stripped of their unbeaten run, and Stan Collymore besides face Liverpool and Newcastle in the next 9 days. It's tough at the top. Blackburn have underlined that today. 2-0 winners.
You said we'd find out a little bit more about Nottingham Forest today. What did we find out?
Well, I found out that we can match teams like Blackburn. You know, I thought that the players were excellent today. I've got no complaints at all about them. They went out and did exactly what we asked them to do. The only thing was Blackburn took their chances on the day better than we did.
I thought for the most we defended very well. But obviously the likes of Brian Roy in the team, you're always going to be under a little pressure sometime in the game. And he did a couple of bits of magic, unfortunately for us, to save them. But as I say, the lads adapted themselves very well, and it wasn't a magnificent performance, but they couldn't fault them for their effort or their commitment. And they got 2 goals to win the match for themselves.
It's a long undefeated run that's come to an end, so it's important to see how we bounce back from this. I mean, I've told them tonight I don't want to see any long faces. You know, they've got no reason to be downhearted about the performances. Obviously disappointed to lose a game, and we've got to make sure that we bounce back on Saturday at Liverpool.
I got the impression they were rather unlucky to lose. Did you, Trevor?
Well, they missed Stan Collymore, which we expected they would do. And early in the second half, they had a very good spell when I thought they might get level. Then, of course, the second goal put it beyond them. But I thought Blackburn bounced back well when you think of the disappointment of the Manchester United game, down to 10 men, well placed at that time. It was important for them. They defended well, as Kenny Dalglish said. And I thought Colin Hendry's had an excellent season. Paul Warhurst alongside him, who's played in a few different positions, hasn't he, this season, done very well.
And they suffered another debatable sending off. Have a look at that for us.
Yes. Well, I mean, the second bookable incident I didn't agree with. This one, I think, with the tackle from behind, the interpretation as it is, if you don't make contact with the ball, you are going to get shown a yellow card. It was a fairly tame challenge, just clipped his heel, but the rule in this season is Paul Danton has to show the yellow card. And I suppose I would accept that. It's the second one that, you know, I think all players sitting at home would say, well, did he have to go for this incident? He thinks, you see, he's letting it go out, he thinks it's his throw, bends down to pick it up, and then Jason Lee goes, and that little toss back there, is it a kicking the ball, throwing the ball away? I mean,
I don't think
far
enough, was it?
Well, it didn't even go off the edge
it.
of the grass, did it? It was. I mean, it's got to go off the pitch to take the throw in. So there was no distance for me, and I thought, you know, with 2 minutes to go, they're 2-0 up. I mean, was it a major enough incident to send? I think a bit of common sense for me would have said, well, look, make sure you don't do that again, but not a sending off.
It's the old consistency again of...
it is. I mean, I know that, you know, it was mentioned they're under instructions to sort of impose their authority and so forth, but on that particular incident, for me, I can't fathom how he felt it was warranted a send. Well, it was a second bookable offence. It wasn't a sending off on its own.
All the referees are assessed, aren't they?
Yes.
I wonder if they shouldn't publish the league table of those assessments, perhaps award them points or something like that, and we could see exactly the referees who are being good and who aren't. I mean,
because
why not?
It's the consistency that we're looking for. I think generally I agree with the new interpretation, but it's consistent. And little incidents like that, I think, I mean, they do have regular meetings, and I think they should look at that and say, look, if that happens again, I don't think we should be sending.
We could do the top and bottom of the referees as well as the league tables on Saturday nights. What fun that would be. Now, Brian Roy had an outstanding match, but he didn't finish, did he? But he some wonderful skills for Forest today.
Well, he is becoming one of my favourite players to watch, I must say. His balance and his first touch are the key areas. I mean, he's always offering up. For a midfield player, it's great because, look, he finds space out wide here. And look at the way he just drops his shoulder just to make the area to cross the ball. And it is all about balance. Here again, he gets a little nudge in the back. It looks as if he's lost it. There's 3 defenders, and he does all the hard work, in fact, and then on his left foot should have put it into the net. But to get away from those 3 there and create the scoring opportunity just shows his determination as well as his balance. And again here, 2 against 1, and quite often he was against that extra defender. He still makes it. I thought he was going to curl it towards the far post, went for the drive, but he did deserve a goal. And you know, a lot of responsibility on him, though, without Collymore at the moment.
He's got almost everything. Thanks. So will the champions come from those 4 clubs we've seen, or will Liverpool be very much part of the equation? Let's see how they fared in their away match today against Ipswich.
While the Fat Cats were mauling each other, Liverpool were on the prowl for easy pickings at Portman Road. Ipswich had lost 9 of their last 10 games. Today they held out until shortly before half-time, then John Barnes unleashed a John Barnes special. Afterwards, he said it was one of those shots that could have gone anywhere. But he scored now in 3 consecutive Premiership games, and that can't all be down to luck. In the second half, Barnes sent Steve McManaman on one of those runs that have lately been terrorising defences. Ipswich's just melted away. McManaman's own shot and Ian Rush's were saved, but Robbie Fowler's appetite for the scraps was in evidence. 2-0. Next, one of this season's unsung revelations, Stig-Inge Bjornaby, registered his bid for Pass of the Month. Robbie Fowler was left with a bit to do and did it without fuss, his 13th of the season. But Bjornaby was himself the victim of a less ambitious but nonetheless effective pass from Mickey Stockwell, and Adrian Paz scored his first Premiership goal. 3-1 was about right for Liverpool, and the news from elsewhere didn't hurt.
I don't think we're going to get a situation like we did last year with Manchester United and Blackburn running away with it. I think they're going to be 4 or 5 teams up there, so I expected it coming into Christmas to be very tight, and it looks as if it's going to go that way.
He means 5 teams. Now, all the football headlines were made this week by Spurs, for all the wrong reasons, of course. On last week's programme, we saw them play some brilliant stuff before getting crushed. Then came the embarrassment against Notts County. They had to turn things round today. Their opponents, West Ham, and Ray Stubbs went to watch.
So nothing to crow about for Spurs fans this week. And even accepting that football can be a fickle old game, the view of many Tottenham fans was that the defeat at Notts County was the straw that broke the camel's back.
I think what a lot of fans are frustrated about is last season everyone supported Ozzy. He had a very poor team and he made desperate signings, but this time he's been given money, he's made signings, and it's just still the same. Very poor performances, poor results. It's just not acceptable for Tottenham Hotspur.
The counter view, the Aussie Ardiles reign, should continue.
It should stay quarter way through the season now. It knows what it's got to do, and I think it should stick by it.
Attacking principles were diluted slightly for today's game. An extra defender drafted in at the expense of striker Teddy Sheringham. But Spurs' inventiveness had to be admired when they fashioned a great goal after 19 minutes. Dumitrescu and Barmy interchanged, Klinsmann dummied and finished off from the Barmby cross. Something for the Tottenham bench to get excited about. A Klinsmann goal eased the tension somewhat. It kick-started the Hammers, though. 2 clear chances were missed before they equalised just on half-time. Tottenham's defensive frailties haven't gone away. Mike Marsh twisted and turned. Matthew Rush had plenty of time at the far post. 1-1 at half-time, and Teddy Sheringham for Justin Edinburgh on the restart was more than influential on the result. West Ham the first on the attack, though, and difficult though it was, Tony Cottee had a chance at the near post. Cue Tottenham to go to the other end and score almost immediately. Klinsmann to Sheringham, and a brilliant volley carried the message, "You shouldn't have left me out." It was a truly professional response from Spurs England international, and Ozzy Ardiles praised Sheringham after the match for the way in which he'd handled the situation. Ardiles and Steve Perriman on the Tottenham bench knew victory was absolutely vital today. Spurs were looking more solid all round in the second half, and a 3rd goal on the hour gave them a cushion. Sheringham again involved, sending Barmby clear, and it was 3-1 Spurs. A variation on the Klinsmann dive to celebrate. Sheringham goes in feet first. At first glance, there was a look of offside about the goal, but a second look suggests Barmby was in line with the last defender. Left in the clear, the Spurs striker ran on, steadied himself, and then let fire with the left boot. The final whistle signalled Tottenham's first win in 6 games, breathing space for Ossie Ardiles, but he knows all too well his problems haven't gone away. It's reported Ardiles and Alan Sugar are to talk tomorrow. The Spurs chairman is likely to hear a defiant message from the Tottenham management team.
The time for crisis at Tottenham is when Tottenham starts losing its style, and it will not do that while Ossie is in charge.
And seeing the sort of headlines in the newspapers and the speculation there's been about the management team on its way, how does that affect you in a build-up to a game? Can you put it out of your mind?
Well, if you believe everything that's written, then we don't have to worry, do we? Because it's all over. So it takes the pressure off you somewhat. But Ossie was a very good player. I was a committed type of player. If we got a punch on the nose in a football sense, you learn to come back from it, and they're the good things you're taught at a club like this.
Steve sounds as though he was shouting a bit today. Well, the club under real pressure, of course, were Everton, still looking for their first win today with a quarter of the season already gone. Arsenal were the visitors to Goodison. One change by Everton, Joe Parkinson replacing the injured Vinnie Samways. Arsenal were missing Lee Dixon, Steve Bold and their top scorer Ian Wright. The commentator is Tony Gubber.
And it's 3-on-3 for Everton. The crowd sensing a chance of a break. Maybe they've just lost the impetus a little bit. Stewart. And McCatchy's wide, still Graham Stewart, still Stewart, it's a trip. It's right on the edge of the penalty area, and it's got to be a free kick. Tony Adams is complaining to referee Keith Burge, but that surely has got to be a right decision. Durant nearest the ball, but surely it'll be Burrows to strike it. Poised just behind him. And Burrows was caught out. Vaughan had the shot. Oh, it's in! You can't catch David Unsworth, and maybe Everton are finally beginning to put their season together. It looked as though the free kick was going to come to nothing, but with just under 15 minutes gone, Everton take the lead. Stewart dealt with it well. Oh, look at the space that Durant found. Where was the cover? Yes! Well, in actual fact, referee Keith Burge has stifled the celebrations because the goal is not allowed. The goal disallowed with Amakatchi in an offside position. Here's Schwartz. Thought about a shot from long range. Oh, what a strike by Stefan Schwartz! That stunned Southall, and it stunned Goodison. 25 yards and more from goal, and Schwartz looked as if he was shaping to shoot, then seemed to change his mind, and then hit it. And it flew past Southall, and that's a real body blow for Everton. Ferguson. Again, the ball came back a long way off his first touch. And Matthew Jackson under pressure from Merson. Here's Smith. Here's Merson, in on Southall. It was a great opening. And you'd have to look back to the very start of that and say it came about because Duncan Ferguson's first touch wasn't quite good enough when the ball was knocked into him. It came right back off his shins. Arsenal reclaimed possession, and then Merson threaded through, just trying to knock it wide of the advancing Southall, but succeeded too in knocking it wide of the far post. Limpar on the touchline, into Amakatchi. Still Amakatchi. And he got away from Keown just far enough to have a strike at target, but it didn't test Seaman.
I mean, what can I say? 32,000, we're bottom of the league. and they're just willing the club. And it's a great club, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to come here. And the players are not going to lie down. And contrary to reports that people think that, oh, we think we're too good to go down. Hey, Man United have been down. Arsenal haven't. Liverpool, Leeds, all these have been down. We know we can go down, and we've got to do something about it.
5 more matches to catch up on now, starting with Leicester against Crystal Palace.
Two teams looking to climb away from danger met at Filbert Street, and Crystal Palace goalkeeper Nigel Martin was singled out for praise after a string of brilliant saves. One goal settled the result. It went to Palace after 36 minutes. When the ball was played in, Chris Armstrong chested it into the path of Andy Priest. Good away win for Crystal Palace. Leicester, only 2 wins from 12 games.
After 3 successive defeats on the road, Southampton were back on familiar territory, taking the lead in familiar style. Matthew Le Tissier's free kick, Neil Maddison unmarked. A daft goal, Howard Wilkinson called it, and you could see what he meant. Maddison's second goal of the game must have seemed equally crazy to the home fans. Brian Dean's shot might have been saved, until it hit Maddison and stranded Bruce Grobbelaar. It was 1-1 with 7 minutes left, but you know how clubs welcome back their old boys with trepidation. Well, here was a clear example of why. Rod Wallace's left foot shot bobbles inside the post. And that wasn't the end of the embarrassment. In the closing seconds, Wallace twisted and turned, Kenner slipped and slithered, and Leeds finished 3-1 winners. Alan Ball said Saints were not having much luck, and no doubt Neil Maddison agreed.
When they vote on the best transfer deal of the season, Dion Dublin to Coventry from Manchester United will surely be in the running. With 5 minutes to go, after great work by Peter Unlerv playing his first full Premiership match of the season, Dublin forced in his 8th goal in 11 matches. Nice one, Dion.
Daniel Dichio, aged 20, and Kevin Gallen, 19, made up Queen's Park Rangers' youngest striking partnership since before they were born. And it was Dichio who took advantage of an aberration by Paul McGrath to score the opening goal. If that was bad for Villa, worse was to occur in stoppage time. The whole defence, including goalkeeper Mark Bosnich, went missing, and substitute Gary Penrice made it 2-0. The win takes Rangers above Villa, who've collected only 1 point from their last 7 games. But while Ron Atkinson was threatening to bring in the kids, Rangers had to bring in the police to disperse demonstrators, venting their dissatisfaction with Chairman Richard Johnson. Chelsea took the fit and the half-fit to Hillsborough. They also took the lead, courtesy of David Hopkins' cross and Dennis Wise's acrobatics. Not everybody understood why Wednesday were given a penalty, but Eddie Newton's push shows clearly from that angle. John Sheridan took the kick, but Dimitri Karin made the right decision. The chances kept coming though, and eventually Andy Sinton made space before delivering the perfect cross for Mark Bright's header. An equaliser that may just have made some Pools punter an instant millionaire. No daft goals on the coupon.
Now the table, Manchester United have closed the gap on the top 2. They're now 4 points behind Newcastle, 2 behind Forest. Blackburn stay 4th, Liverpool 5th. They've got 1 game in hand. Everton are still looking for their first win. They're 3 points adrift of Ipswich. QPR's first win in 10 games moves them up 3 places, and Wimbledon play Norwich tomorrow. Well, joint top of the Premiership hot shots tonight. Chris Sutton's 2 today takes his total to 11. And Robbie Fowler also hit 2 today. He's also now on 11 Premiership goals. Wright has 9. Klinsmann took his total to 8 with a goal against West Ham. Now we've got live football here on BBC One on Tuesday night as Aston Villa take on the Turkish team Trabzonspor. They're a goal down from the first leg, Villa. At half-time then, incidentally, we'll have our Goal of the Month competition. We've held it over from tonight. So you can enjoy it then, pick the winners. So it's been a day when all eyes have been on the title race. Well, nearly all eyes. But it was the one that got away for the leaders Newcastle today, and the champions have obviously landed yet another catch of the day. Good night.
Keith Gillespie And still. Oh! A goal